So, what a pleasure to be with Rabbi Goldschmidt,
Pleasure's all mine.
the leader of Moscow Jewry since 1989. What an amazing meeting that I really had a dream to have. And really, we're speaking with our Russian speaking community, first of all, the United States. There are 700,000 or maybe more Russian American Jews or Jews of Russian background. And anyone can just join our meeting and wonder, Rabbi Goldschmidt, a legendary rabbi who led Russian Jewry for more than 3 decades, is out of Russia. Why?
Unfortunately, the country has changed radically. I went to sleep on the 24th of February in the evening in Moscow. I woke up in a different country with new laws, new restrictions. Any kind of protest would have been punished right away with long prison terms. And I felt that in the beginning we decided that in the community that we cannot speak up against the war, but we're not going to give in and support the war. And then after a few days I came to the realization that that's not enough. I have to do something to help, to do something. If you cannot talk, do something. My wife and myself, we decided we're going to go and we'll start a foundation and get money together to help the refugees who left Ukraine to Eastern Europe, and we left with my wife to Istanbul, went to Budapest, went to Vienna and to Warsaw, then later I went to Romania, and we saw, I would like to say that that's the silver lining of this terrible war and this very difficult time we are in, is the beautiful work the Jewish communities in Europe were doing and are doing with the Jewish refugees. I'll give you one example. Vienna. It's not a big community, for sure. In the United States, New York has millions of Jews. Los Angeles has. Vienna has maybe 10,000 Jews. They took in 1,300 refugees, gave them free apartments. You go into other communities in Germany, in the evening you can see all the community centers are open for refugees who want to come and eat, have a kosher meal in the evening. And Basel, a small Swiss community with 700 members, they took in more than 130 refugees, gave them apartments, food, found jobs, took the kids into the Jewish school. That's wonderful. And when I went to the border, to the train station between Hungary and Ukraine, it was next to Ihel. Ihel is the Ukrainian name for Ihel is a much longer name, but the Jewish world calls a town Ihel. Why? Because very famous town. The uncle of the Satmar Rebbe of Rabbi Goldschmidt, it was the Yismach Moshe. He wrote the book, the Yismach Moshe, and is buried there in Ihel. And Ihel, it's not far from the border, and I come to the train station, and there are stands in the train station. There's a stand for the Catholic Church, and there's a stand for the Protestant Church, and there's a Jewish stand. Jewish stand for all the Jewish organizations together and waiting for Jewish refugees to come. I thought to myself, 70 or 80 years ago, when Jews came over the border, when the Jews was somebody waiting for them? Was somebody waiting for them? So, Baruch Hashem, we learned our lessons. We are the communities, the Jewish communities, really got together, and it was beautiful work done also with children. And with the Conference of European Rabbis, we brought in a lot of volunteers in the beginning to translate, because the local Hungarian Jews didn't speak not Russian, not Ukrainian, and so we brought in Sherut Leumi girls to translate between Russian and English
From Israel.
And then we helped communities in Neptune in Romania, the whole community of Odessa, 1,200 people with the yeshiva, with 2 orphanages, already together there for more than I think 5 months are there, and a beautiful work is being done. So that's a real Kiddush Hashem. It is wonderful to see that, and I would also like to mention that something beautiful is the rabbis of Ukraine. Rabbis of Ukraine, under bombardment, they were the last ones to leave the cities. That took out the organized buses and private transportation to take out the old people and the people out of hospitals, and took out everyone and took care of their community members. It's the way, and those rabbis in Ukraine, most of them were Lubavitcher Hasidim. They dedicated their whole life rebuilding the Jewish life in Ukraine. They built synagogues, they built schools and orphanages, and yeshivas and mikvahs and everything. And from one day to the next, they had to leave with one suitcase. So, one also of the most remarkable moments is the way American Jewry came forward with helping Ukrainian refugees. Also, the Aguda, Levad Hatzalah, which is a beautiful general community, did something. But, I'll tell you one very funny moment. When I went with my wife to visit the centers for refugees in Hungary, so we went to see a center which was built by the community. Now, the official community in Hungary is Neolog. Neolog is like a reform. And I thought I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna take food with myself because it's not going to be kosher. So I have to eat something. It was a 3-hour trip there. It was a 3-hour trip back. And I go there and I see who's running the place. The Satmar Chassidim were running the place. So we saw across the board that between different communities, really everyone working together. People from Israel with the Jewish Agency and the Joint, and Frum people, and also liberal communities, really getting together to do the maximum to help all those refugees.
It's really unbelievable. It's very inspiring. And I have to say, I witnessed the Vienna community myself. It was really unbelievable. And people were very grateful to the local community. Right. There were over 1,000 refugees there. Also, just as an example, I'm talking about Rage community, created Shalom Ukraine help for victims of trauma. And we actually accept anybody, a Jew, a non-Jew alike. Anybody who needs help can call our therapists in the United States, volunteers, and we want to help everybody. But in terms of our community, I'm talking about our community in New York and all over the country, what you would suggest us, because you are an expert on Russia and on Ukraine, and you heard all kinds of different opinions, support the war, just keep quiet, don't be quiet. And the various opinions within the community, and sometimes even within one family, there are bitter fights, so to speak. What is the right way, how a Jew should behave now?
I think that a Jew who we lived through many wars, we lived through the Holocaust, we know the terrible challenges which are created through wars. We cannot support a war which is not a war of defense, like Israel had to do it in at least 5 times in its very short history. And but that's not enough. Making declarations, what makes us Jews special is that we have Taryag mitzvot. We have 630 mitzvot. To believe is not enough. We have Judaism is a religion of action. We have, when we want to say we love God, that's not enough. We have to put on tefillin to show that we express our love through prayers, etc. So also when we help those who suffered the most through this war, and I would like to say that the victims are not only the Ukrainian and the Ukrainian Jews. The Russian Jewish community is also a community in distress and needs a lot of help. And I've been I traveled to the United States. I spoke to many leading rabbis and communities that we have to do also our best to support the Russian Jewish community independently of what we're doing for the Ukrainian Jewish community, because in all the different institutions, yeshivas and schools which were built in the last 33 years are in danger of falling apart because the whole support system from inside has come crashing down. And a large part of the community has left Russia, and many who till now were able to support are today either under sanctions or cannot support anymore because economically is, of course, Russia is going through a very difficult time. So it is, talking is not enough. We should do something.
Thank you so much. And maybe last word in terms of taking position to support the Jewish community is really, really important. I understand that, but there were times that Jews were slaughtered, were killed, were murdered, and there were nations watching it. So if we're going to be just helping us, Jews, while there are thousands, or tens or hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians murdered, what is our position about that?
We have to help everyone, and also that we, in the Conference of European Rabbis, our fund to help refugees is not only for Jews; it's also for other refugees, and definitely we as Jews have to reach out to everyone, and not and that's also halachically is imperative that when we help, and we have to help not only our brothers and sisters, but we have to help everyone.
As far as I know, actually, when there were evacuations, the buses were evacuating Jews and non-Jews alike. Anybody who wanted to get on the bus that was standing near the shul, near the community,
Right.
Anybody who needed evacuation, Jews saved others. I want to thank you so much, and I hope that these words will inspire our community not just to listen and not even to think, but actually to act, and act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Continue.
יישר כוח.